There we are. Showtime.
Welcome to Yo Soy Neighborhoods Fresno. Today we're at downtown Fresno, California, in the beautiful studios of CMAC. Thank you for letting us do this, CMAC Studios. Today we're talking about, let's talk about some local political issues and issues, house cleaning, I guess would be a good word for it. House cleaning issues. When I returned back to Fresno after 32 years, almost 33 years in Southern California and San Diego area, I came back to my hometown and I was really amazed that we had a lot of the issues that I left with, they were still here. You know, the housing, the not having enough work for those people that had an opportunity to take time to go to college, not enough internships. I mean, all of this. And we're still impacted with that today. So I have John Estrada here, and of course our regular panelist here, Mr. Calderon. John Estrada has run for Congress, the state Senate. He's been in politics since 1990 or something?
Since I was 25 years old.
25 years old, really? Yeah. When you got back from the Navy?
Shortly after.
Really?
Yeah, I started my own real estate company when I was early on, like 21 and
here in Fresno?
No, in the Fremont. I used to live in Fremont for a while.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I joined the Navy, and after the Navy, I started my own real estate company.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
So what brought you into politics? We talked about it once before.
Yeah, I was asked by a candidate that was running for governor to be the coordinator for Alameda County for his race for governor. So
who was that?
His name was Mario Obledo. Today, you know, he's passed away, but he got the Presidential Medal of Freedom from the president. Bill Clinton gave that to him.
Wonderful.
He was very instrumental. He used to be our Secretary of State here in California. Very, very influential man, and did a lot. So at the
Mexicano.
time, yeah. Yeah, he was one of the first to run for office, if not the first. Yeah.
Good.
And so I got my start there in politics, and then I gradually moved from there to, I was the campaign coordinator for the Bush Quail Committee for Veterans. And I was a facilitator, a coordinator here in the San Joaquin Valley.
Okay.
Does that mean you identify as a Republican?
I am a Republican.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
In these interesting times. What's your take on the whole Republican climate now?
Unfortunately, I think we are a divided nation, and I think that we have major problems. And Congress, if we want to go to Congress, because that's probably where I really find myself spending a lot of time in dealing with congressional issues and stuff like that. But I have found that until the Republicans, Democrats take those labels off and say we're Americans and we need to solve America issues, there's a lot of issues that have not been settled. Immigration is one issue that has not been settled since 1986.
Right.
It just goes on and on and on. It's sad. It's sad. These guys are making $174,000 a year.
Oh my God, more than that? They're millionaires. Filthy.
No, they get side stuff on top of it. I'm talking about their base pay.
You're talking about the congressman?
Yeah. And so unfortunately they're getting paid all this money, they got all the connections, they get all this opportunity, and they're doing nothing for us.
No, nothing at all. And that's why I was saying that housekeeping, 40 years?
Yeah.
I was almost, 32, 33 years, that's a long, long time. And all of us are paying money into the tax bin. And my mother paid a ton of money on her taxes. Yeah. She had 4 or 5 properties, you know. So where is that money going to? And we're having another election cycle come up pretty quick here.
Exactly.
And that's impacting our local area. So what do you see at the top of your list that we need to attack first?
Well, we have a government on the statewide level that's having major problems too, because it's dominated by Democrats. And unfortunately by that there's no balance. You don't have no balance of power. You have one party that's basically doing everything that they believe in. And so they're doing things that probably is not correct for all sites. Like, for instance, I believe we're overtaxed on a lot of issues.
God, yes.
Gasoline tax is way out of bounds for Californians.
Okay.
Housing, the housing problem, we have a major problem for affordable housing, which is going to cause homelessness for middle class.
Okay.
Because
Well,
there's not enough housing. People are really going to be suffering big time.
All right, so let's talk about that tax thing right now. I think it's a bad habit that was started. I think Governor Brown started it, where he switches, you collect all this money, and it's supposed to be for a specific purpose, and then it goes and it gets moved.
It gets moved to the general fund.
Okay, yeah. And so I think part of that whole thing, forget about the Democrats and Republicans.
Sure.
We need, people are the issue.
Yeah.
We are all people.
Yeah.
And California is impacted by tons of people. I know for a fact that they're in Iran or different countries and they're sitting there plotting, okay, when we graduate from college, we're coming to Iran, we're coming to California, and we're going to meet at such and so place, Hollywood and Vine or whatever. And this is an actual true story. Some people that I know did this. And they're from all over the world, and they're coming to California. So California, in my opinion, we need to start really looking at the whole picture, the big picture, and say, all right, we're a people issue, and we're getting, because of our wonderful climate and all the goodies that we have here, everyone from around the world wants to live in California. Maybe we, as people of California, need to start structuring our democracy in a way that is planning for these people to be coming here. And
We don't have the infrastructure to take care of very many more people.
oh, no, we don't have it now to take care of our people as it is.
Just the transportation modes are really the streets and the highways and the freeways. They're in
mess.
bad shape. The water system here in California was made for the 50s, and so they want to bring in more people.
It's not going to work.
It's going to be very
That
hard.
water
yeah.
system, I want to bring Mr. Patterson on here to talk about it, because we touched on this aquifers, and I don't think the audience out there, everybody can't know everything. Let's face it, I can't know everything. You can't know everything. There's so much going on all the time.
Sure.
The bottom line is that we, the taxpayers, many years ago paid for an aquifer system that is functional.
Yeah.
And they have purposely stopped using it. And that means if it's not used, it's going to fall apart. And why are we throwing good tax dollars away? See, that's another whole thing that's really bothersome to me.
Well, Edna, you really touched upon this, and a lot of people don't know that for years and years and years, they've been pulling money out of these funds that are scheduled to be done for certain purposes, like highways. They pull that out, they put that in the general fund, and then they use it for other purposes. That's why we're in such a big mess now.
So, number one, we should tell our people that we have elected into position to stop doing that. They need to stop doing it. It's a very simple move.
You're really
Just keep it right there and
You're absolutely right.
apply it to what needs to be applied
And,
to.
and so that's my concern about people that want to run for city, state offices. They don't make enough noise. Because once they get into office, they're told by the powers to be, the guys that have the power, are telling them what to do, what to say, and if they say anything or do anything, that's it. They're
Let me
put
back up.
into
Let's make this clear for the audience when you say the people in power. So you're saying the mayor gets orders from the governor?
I'm saying that they don't want to rock the boat. None of them want to rock the boat because they're afraid that they're going to lose their position. They will not get funding to run for office. They will not get any future positions of power if they get out of the lock and step from the political parties. That's what happens.
So we're not grown-ups.
It's far worse than that. It's, to me, I think it's corrupt. But
Don't get me started on that one.
But you know what? These issues that you're talking about are taken care of. You know, you say it here today, and I think it's a great thing. Maybe you should run for office.
I know. It's easy from the outside looking in, you know, and from the inside looking out. How are you going to solve it?
Ed, how do you identify as a Republican, Democrat, or whatever?
Well,
independent?
okay. To tell you quite frankly,
Yeah.
I have been a Republican since I was 24 years old.
Okay.
I was recruited back then. Okay? But the Republican Party at that time was a very different structure.
Oh, yeah.
We were more, I want to say, mainstream, looking at all the broad issues, and we were more targeted. And now they're just all over the place, okay? So what I've done over the years is I look at the people and the issues. If the person doesn't fit, people, okay, this is kind of what I look at. People say things, but their actions are not what they're saying. So I kind of evaluate who is that person, what do they do, what have they been doing, what is their occupation, okay? Because if you're a a CPA or something like that, then that means you're a numbers person. Now, is that person, that's an analytic, do they use both sides of their brain? Do they just use one side of their brain?
Or
now,
no
but people,
brain. Maybe
well,
You sound like you're an independent.
yeah, I'm more, over the years, that's what I said, but I'm still classified as a Republican because
You're registered.
I just
But do you-
register that
Let me
way.
ask, do you feel a little ashamed being a Republican nowadays in the era of Trump with all of his, all the crazy stuff going on?
No,
or
Well, let me,
no.
I want to answer, can I answer that question? I'd
Go.
like to answer that
Go
question.
for it.
Okay. First of all, I'm not ashamed of Trump at all.
Okay.
I'm very proud.
Even with all the impeachment and stuff?
You know what? I'm proud of what he's doing because he's not a politician. For the first time in many, many years that I've been alive, okay, I've seen a president that's not afraid to tell us what's going on. You may not like what he's saying.
You don't think he's lying to us?
I don't think he's lying with it. I think he's straightforward. I think he's a straight shooter.
I mean,
He's saying it
He's
the
a
way he is.
there's
businessman.
documented lies that he's said on air, on everything.
Well,
No?
first of all, he's got enemies,
Yeah.
big enemies, and they're not private enemies; they're major enemies.
Sure.
He's got the media, major media networks that hate his guts because he proved them wrong. They projected that Hillary Clinton was going to win
Right.
the election, and they got big egg on their face because they all said the pollsters are going to let Hillary's leading by polls by a long shot. It's going to be a landslide. They said that Donald Trump did not stand a chance, and you know what? He won.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this comes down to gossip and scuttlebutt.
It's
pretty much.
Well, no, it's worse than that. It's to me, it's a
Internal
level of corruption.
It's internal
It's gone
corruption.
into corruption. Media is very corrupt right now because they're not even telling us the news anymore. They're trying to make the news.
It's not only that, media, it's the court system.
Yeah.
I worked in the court system and I've recently had a little, you'll hear about it later, but my attorney said not to say anything. But let me tell you, in Fresno, when you have someone that is supposed to be assigned advocate to someone that they're supposed to take care of, and they come into the courtroom and straight up lie to the judge, that is major corruption. That is a no-no, okay?
Yeah.
And this woman, she's an attorney. She's 55 years old, thereabouts, or close to my age. She should know better, okay? And I'm sorry, that's not okay in my book.
Well, you know, you're right, is that we have corruption not only in the federal level, but state and local.
All layers. And I'm sorry, but if we're electing people in the positions that they're being elected into, they need to have some cojones.
You got it right.
They need
You
to.
got it right.
They need
to stand up and go against their party if they have to.
They need to
If they're-
say-
See, what's more important, there's no place in the U.S. Constitution that says anything about Republicans or Democrats or independents.
No, that's right.
It's us. We the people, right? So they should be working for we the people, not we the party.
That's right.
Right.
We the people, we are the taxpayers. We are the ones that want to be taken care of, okay? I lived in a city and we were sharing with John a while ago. I came from the great fields of Fresno, and I ended up living in a city that was very, very, I think is a good example of a modern city, which is Carlsbad, California.
Yeah.
Okay?
Pretty nice.
And really, the streets, which we don't have here, they're starting to get a grip on it. The streets are made for the cars. They aren't bumpity bump. And they have nice bike lanes. They have walking lanes. They have puppy lanes with people. You know, they have a walking area downtown so you can enjoy yourself. I mean, this to me
Yep.
is what I picture our future Fresno. We should be there right now. Why is it that we have such a 365 miles apart, these two cities,
Yep.
and one was marked the 29th best city in the world to live in,
Yep.
and we are the second poorest city and that's a word in the dictionary too. I don't have to be nice about it. It's poor is poor, and that's it. And we have the same problems. Yes, we've gotten some more work, but we need mega more work because we have people continually filtering in. Our social service system here, they need to change it a little bit because people that are coming from other states, other countries, they shouldn't be able to get social services for 6 months until they prove themselves that they're working and putting money into it.
Well, let me just go into this issue about housing. We are really taking a big hit on housing, affordable housing. And all these rules, the Uniform Building Code, is all controlled out of Sacramento. So if the cities and counties want to build affordable housing, they can't. They have to go to the state to get approval on their regulations. They have to follow the regulations. To me, somebody would stand up and say, you know what? Cities and counties, they know what's going to be good for their communities. Let them build affordable housing. That would solve a lot of problems.
They're on ground zero.
The homeless, there's a lot of homeless out there that could be taken care of almost instantaneously. Unfortunately, we have people in Sacramento that want to have control. The bureaucrats, they have control.
Well, our future is now.
Yes.
And we need to start voting in a way that gets rid of all this old school thinking. Yes, I'm going to be 65 next month. But that doesn't mean I have to think like
Happy birthday.
that, okay?
So we have this idea that Fresno is one city, right?
It is one
But
city.
do you really think it is? Because if I go to North Fresno, for example, it's a lot different than going to east side, west side, south side,
That's
whatever.
right.
I'm not going to find the homeless people, loitering around in certain parts. If I go to Woodward Park, for example, they're not there. They're not hanging out
That's
like
because
over
they
here.
got kicked out.
Right. So then, so is it really one Fresno? I mean, there are Fresnons up there that they're not experiencing or seeing the homeless plight, the poverty.
Don't tell Van
I do agree with you. The city of Fresno is a tale of two cities.
Well, it's crazy because Dyer, the new, I guess he's running for mayor. Isn't his slogan "One Fresno"?
Yeah, it's not one Fresno, and unfortunately, I don't think Dyer's going to be successful in one because you're talking a problem that has been going on for like 100 years. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. So if it took us 100 years to get into the mess, it's going to take us a long time to get out of this mess.
Well, I don't think so, really, if people start to band together. And like I said, they have to stand up and say, hey, look at the issues, look at the people that are running.
Oh, that's critical.
You know, right there.
You have to pay attention. Unfortunately, many people don't really do their research. All they do is they listen
it's
to
name recognition.
Yeah, well, they listen.
Only.
They listen to a person that they think is doing a good job. They don't know really the truth what they're doing, which is probably doing nothing. And so, if this one person says, "Oh, I'm supporting him," then you have a whole bunch of people who will support that guy, which to me I think is a great fallacy.
It is, because I've talked to a couple of people and I said, we're really busy. We're very busy just trying to make it every day, take care of the kids and whatnot. They don't have time to look at the issues, read that little book pamphlet.
You know, then the other issue that I see happening is that, like for instance, mayor. If you have people running for mayor, you want to make sure those people are qualified to be mayor, okay? And if they don't have the qualifications to be mayor, and we're going to put them into that office, what happens? It's going to take them a learning curve to learn the job. And by the time they learn the job, guess what? It's time for them to leave.
Yep.
So you've wasted so much time and effort.
And money.
And
votes.
And votes. And so I would say definitely this upcoming election coming up for our new mayor, I mean, we have to get somebody that knows the job and that can do the job.
Well, last week we interviewed Nelson Esparza, and I was very impressed at the fact that he had actually gone to training
He's a
at the
smart
state
guy.
senate.
He's a smart guy. Nelson's a smart guy.
And we need more people like that. There are people out there that have been trained in these certain areas, and they need to run. And we need professional people that look at things logically and pencil it out, and not just guess. Oh, well, that sounds good. Let's do that.
You know, spending money to waste money is not a good approach
It's not effective.
either. You know, if you're going to spend money, make sure it counts.
Well, especially now, everything costs $1 million.
Exactly.
I mean, and we cannot afford that. We can't afford that. We need to be able to have everyone offered employment, even the people that are homeless out there that can still think straight. You know, I have to give, again, Board of Supervisors, pat on the back. We finally got VMC sold,
Yeah.
or whatever. There's going to be 800 homes there for people. That's wonderful. Esmeralda did some other things over here. They've got some other housing that's coming up. But we still need at least 4 more of those. 4 times 8, what's that?
We need
That's
a
24.
lot more
Yeah.
affordable housing. That's just taking a care of a few people. You need literally
Oh.
thousands
Yes.
of housing
Yes.
units built. And so I think they need to relax the regulations and let the builders and developers do their job. Build housing, because right now if rents are going up, property values are going up, and so that's going to leave a lot of people behind. It's going to be hard for renters. It's going to be very hard.
It's not like my mother and father bought a home in 1959. I think I was like 4 years old. They paid $9,200.
Yeah.
My father was a full-time waiter.
Sure,
And my
sure.
mother didn't work.
Yeah.
My mother never worked until I was 13.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my
her-
parents bought a home, brand new home, over on the Kawa for $15,000, brand new home, $15,000.
and they had acreage.
Well, no, this is
No?
this is more of a tract home.
Oh, okay.
But it was really a nice property in those days. But back in 1975, I was selling real estate, and my very first home I sold in Fremont, California, was a 1,600 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, nice tract home for $35,000. That same house today is worth $1.5 million in
My
San
uncle
Jose,
lived
up in
in
Fremont,
Fremont.
California.
Wow.
He used to work for the GM plant.
It's huge what has happened over there, and it's going to happen like that here.
Of course.
Property value is going to go up, so if you want to buy real estate, right now is a good time to do it.
Yeah, but right now we're in a seller's market. So it might be a better time when the economy crashes because of Trump in the next year or so.
Well, first of all, I don't believe Trump is going to cause the housing to go bad.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. See, there's a lot of propaganda put out there about Trump, and if you just listen to one newscast, then you're going to get faulty information. My recommendation: look at all the media outlets. Look at Fox, MSNBC, CNN. You check out all the stuff. Read yourself. Do your research,
You like
and then
to
you'll
read.
get a good balance.
You
You'll get a
like
good
to read,
balance,
right?
And educated people like you are, you know that you have to see both sides of the story to really get a good understanding
There's
of
2
what's going on.
books already written about these crashes.
Yeah.
Okay, way back
You
in
mean
the
2008
60s.
crash?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, it was written in 19. In
It
fact,
was a
I had
crazy
a copy.
bubble that
yeah,
happened, yeah.
in 1960 something, they had already projected that this would happen in 05. It started actually in 05.
Yeah.
And it just took
well,
time.
we bailed
the
out these
momentum.
big banks, right?
And you know what? That's
That was a wrong
That's
thing.
another issue. Banking is like they're the power brokers. They're very powerful.
But if we
people.
didn't bail them out, we'd have another Great Depression. In the Great Depression in the 1920s, they didn't bail out the banks,
Well-
and look what happened. I mean,
My feeling.
You don't think there was
my
a
feeling-
depression?
They didn't.
See, my feeling is that all these guys, these big bankers, they made mistakes,
yeah. Well, they were selling these
and
mortgage back.
and nobody paid the price for that. They didn't go to
That's
jail.
right.
People paid the price.
Exactly.
We did. 40 years of
Exactly.
work went down the
Right.
A
tube.
lot of people.
It's horrible. And they were making millions. Everyone was making money
Sure.
during that bubble time.
Oh yeah, California made a whole bunch of money because that's when Kamala Harris went and did her little dance and put that big lawsuit together. But do you think any of us homeowners got that money? It's in the California coffers that
Yeah.
they're using that money for other things.
Yep.
We didn't get 1 cent. Zero, zilch. I had $500,000 I lost. Okay, so don't tell me all about that. You know, we are on the ground floor. We need to be the center of making all these decisions. We need to get rid of these lifer politicians.
Well,
Feinstein,
exactly.
they shouldn't be made-
I support that. I do think we need term limits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some people out there that they don't want term limits, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these people have been in office for like 40 years, and what have they done?
Nothing. Oh, yeah, I know what they've done. They've had a skinny wallet. Now their wallet is this big.
That's
Bigger
what they
than
did,
that.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay.
like this.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing. Now, my husband was an armored car driver. He had to go through psychological clearances.
Sure.
Guess what? Every layer from the top to the bottom. Us consumers are having to deal and put our trust in mortgage bankers, real estate brokers, policemen, attorneys, all of these people, okay? As a clerk of the court,
Yeah.
I had to take an oath. Well, guess what? That was then. This is now. Now we have all this wonderful boomer stuff that the boomers brought the internet. We brought all of this we didn't do the social media exactly, but we brought the infrastructure here that you could have it. So now we have to up our game, and we need to demand that we have clearances for all these people. Psychological, honesty. No, seriously, I'm serious.
Honesty.
Honesty tests. There are honesty tests.
Yeah,
You take that BAS test, and that tells you how you make decisions.
Well,
okay?
first of all, I think most politicians have two ways to go, that way and that way through their mouth.
It's talking like a snake, right? Yeah. So, but no, it's a serious thing. We need to up our game. If we're
Yeah.
going to have modern society, we need modern rules. We need to play by modern rules and have modern clearances. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. I think that's it.
To me, you don't really have justice for all in America.
Heck
I
no.
wish you did, but you didn't. Like, for instance, if you're a high big person in politics, like a candidate for president or senator, and they get in trouble, they don't get in trouble.
No, it's cover up.
Yeah, and so
Kissy.
who gets
It's
prosecuted in
it's
Washington?
called-
Who gets prosecuted in Washington D.C.? Only a few scapegoats get prosecuted, but the ones that really did all the damage, they get away with it.
Yeah.
And so
And that has to stop.
Yeah, America.
That has to stop.
If you're going to have justice, have it fairly. If they mess up, they should be prosecuted, no matter who they are.
Yep, that's it.
So I know we're coming down to like the end of our time here, but I'm curious, what do you think we can do here in Fresno as common people?
We need to do our research on our candidates that are running for office, because they're the ones that are going to do the job for the city.
And issues.
And so if they're not qualified, don't vote them in, because all they're going to do is waste time. Make sure, like if somebody's running for mayor, from my point of view, I'd like to see somebody that's a city council person or has been a city council person. They know what's going on.
They get a little experience.
They have experience
That
to be
makes
mayor.
sense.
They have experience to be mayor. If you don't have that experience, my feelings, you have no business running for office.
Kind of give a rundown to everybody how this works. I mean, if I go sign up to try to run for office, like
Yeah.
city council, so what are they going to do?
All they have to
recorder, do they do background checks?
No. All they have to do is go to the elections office, like Fresno elections office, and they have all the candidate documentation there. They fill out their paperwork, and they
pay money.
Well, in some cases they might pay some money, but in some cases they don't, depending on whether or not they do signatures in lieu of.
Okay.
If they do signatures in lieu of the filing fee, then they don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. So,
And so it's a very simple process. I encourage you, if a person here in Fresno or the region or California, wherever, I truly believe if you care about this state, you care about our country, you care about Fresno, wherever, go out and run for office if you've got the qualifications, because I tell you what, we need help.
yes. Okay. So, any other questions? What would you like to share with the audience that you feel would be really, really important? We're going to have John back in January, before the elections.
Yeah, I'd like to come back and sit in a panel and see if we could talk about the different specific candidates. I think that would be a great idea. But right now, I support Republican candidates. I'm 100% Republican.
Well, I'm not worried about what you're supporting. What I was trying to say is, what could you convey to the audience as far as getting ready to vote?
Right now, it's until the filing deadlines are finished. In other words, there's a deadline. People could run for office or sign up to run for office until a certain date. When that date is done, then your candidates are set. You know
Okay.
who's running, who's not running, and it's still open. I think they got about a month or so to go.
Another month to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And-
great. All right, John, this has been really a very interesting, good conversation. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, we need to bring all
Sure.
all this information out so people, I mean, we're just 3 people. Please, we encourage you to call us, email, do anything you can. If you have something to say, we'd like to put a panel together sometime and have an audience out here asking questions. That
Yeah,
would be super.
That would be awesome.
We have enough room here at the studio, and believe me, CMAC would entertain it. So I just wanted to give a couple announcements this weekend. Fresno City College, Toasting the Arts, Rockabilly Mafia Dolls, great bunch of ladies. Disney Villains Paint Night at 1252 Fulton Mall. Check them out. These are people I think we need to support. They're bringing good things to Fresno. Walk for Freedom at the Eaton Plaza, 10 a.m. This is all Saturday. So Foursome Band at Granite Park at 8:30 p.m. So come out and enjoy some of Fresno. Thank you for watching, tuning in to Yo Soy Neighborhoods Fresno. See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
John.
Thank you.